I also think that one of the problems that we have today is like for many, many years, when you talk about wine, you was talking about, I don't know, something that was like religious, so mystic, with a lot of super complex words that no one will understand. Also, this wine just let me remind fresh cut grass during midnight summer, whatever. I mean, come on, man, you are not Shakespeare. It's like you have to be truly. So that's the point. It's like don't make the things more complicated than what they are. That's the thing that I don't like about the wine world.
Welcome to another episode of the Italian Wine Podcast, the Next Generation series, where we aim to answer one simple question. What are the new generations up to when it comes to wine and food? My name is Karla Ravagnolo. Join me as we dive into the latest trends in Italian wine. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Italian Wine Podcast. My name is Karla Ravagnolo. I'll be the host for this episode of the Next Generation series. And today I'm very much excited to welcome Diego Zimmardi, an extremely wonderful human being I met in Taormina Gourmet this year in Sicily. He is a well-traveled winemaker and he's extremely outspoken. He has some very brave and honest thoughts that he would like to share with us today. So I'm very much pleased to welcome him. Hi, Diego.
Hello, thank you to everybody. Too kind, too kind. I'm not so much good as you describe me.
No. You are. I'm sure people will agree with me. So, Diego, we're gonna start slowly, and then we're gonna get into the tougher part. But I would like to start this interview since you're from Sicily, and actually today you are talking from a sunny, warm day nearby the sea. You are from Palermo, am I correct?
Born and grew up.
Nice. So, give us 3 words to describe Sicily.
Okay. I would say beautiful, but I don't want to go like too banal. So maybe sunny, unpredictable, wild.
Why unpredictable and wild?
Because it's quite hard to find a balance. It depends where you stay. I mean, if you stay in a big city like Palermo, Catania, it's something. If you move like more in the inner part of the Sicily, like in the really countryside, small village with few thousand people or not even thousand people that live in that place, it's quite harsh to live. You are live exactly in another dimension. You're not even living in Italy sometimes. It's like for them, it's another world completely almost. Imagine to live in a place up on the mountain with 600 person. It's like if you don't travel, if you don't go in another city for all of your life, for you it just you know doesn't matter who is the government or whatever. It's nothing's gonna change for you.
I mean, there's pros and cons of this type of lifestyle. Sometimes I wish I was somewhat isolated from society, especially like in these days. Um, in some ways, you kind of have the opportunity to focus on your little like village and have a very serene lifestyle. But do you think that Sicily influenced you in some way? And if so, how?
For sure influence me. I mean, if you think from the beginning, I think it could be stupid, but it's not. If you think we are an island, so we are not connected with anyone, and it's also like this kind of independent way how you grow up. You know, this is all. It's always to be like that with everyone. Every people that come from Sicily have this kind of really good strength. I don't know, like this self uh, definition to be like Sicilian. You are proud to be Sicilian, to be linked with your territory, even if it's love and hate. Like Catullo, no? Todio e Tamo. It's 50-50. I love you, but I hate you in the same time. As much as I hate you, as much as I love you. That's the point, because you don't have like kind of disponibility to do, I don't know, like the job or whatever. It's not so easy to find a job. It's not so easy to get to develop some cultural or social whatever. I mean, right now it's much more easy than back before. And what you learn in Sicily is that you have to work hard than anyone else. Because if you consider also like a guy that is 16 years old or 18 years old from Palermo to Milan, or much better if you go outside of Italy, you are able to find a job, work 1 year, and go for traveling, But in Sicily, it's not like that things work. So to have like the standard line that everyone have, you have to work more than harder than anyone. That it's something that will just mark you. Like, and for this reason, I'd say I hate as I love, because yeah, you have amazing environment, amazing sea, amazing culture, amazing food or whatever, but you not only live with pleasure. So this is harsh.
This kind of already introduces one of the topics that we're going to discuss later, which is the actual situation of young people in Sicily, especially young winemakers and people who want to approach the industry of wine. But before touching on that, I would like for you to tell us, why did you decide to start a career in wine? Why did you study enology? What did you do in the past years? I see from your CV that you've been traveling quite a bit. You had some experiences in South Africa, Portugal, Chile, Austria, Hungary, and France. Would you mind telling us a little bit more?
So actually, it's funny because like no one in my family it was in a business of wine, no one. But when you are kind of 16, 17, that you feel like lost. You don't know what you have to do. You don't know what you would like to do, and all this kind of stuff. And to be honest, it's like also the high school not preparate you to be ready to go to work or to go to university, whatever. So you feel lost. And I wasn't so good at the high school. Every year it was a fight. So at the end, I didn't know what I want to do. So I was two in like in philosophy. So I wanted to do like philosophy, history at university, and the other way I want to do chemistry, as I also love like natural environment, and I always like love drinking, but drinking not only like wine, like mixing, bartending, whatever. So I try to focus and find something that it's like put everything together. And one day, like my sister told me, "But did you know there exists like the university how to study, like how to produce wine, how you manage the vineyards, something like that?" And I say, "No, I have no idea about it." So I go to read, and I just fell in love with this one, and I say, "Yeah, why not?" So I moved because this university it wasn't in my city. I mean, it's still University of Palermo, but it is not here. It was in Marsala, close to Trapani, that I think everyone knows for the fortified wine they produce there. So I moved there when I was 19, and I started to do my bachelor's degree. At the beginning, it was harsh, I have to say, because as I say, it's like not everyone. It depends also how you study during high school. It's not so easy to go to the university. But in the second semester, I started to do like really well, and I finished cum laude. So I was proud, and I think I found my way. I think I found my way.
Which is the most important thing, actually. I'm still looking for mine. So, congratulations.
Sure, but what I understand is like I think it's also a message that have to pass, not just for me, but I think to everyone is like you never know what is going to happen. When I started university, like a close friend of mine that was like almost 50 years old. He was a super engineer in Torino, wherever. He quit everything to start to do like winemaking, and right now he produces natural wine in Sicily at 55 years old. So you never know what is your life. You never know. It's just a travel. You don't know when you start. You don't know where you landed. You never know.
So you graduate and let's say you have to pick what to do basically with this bachelor degree. So my question for you, I think it's, why did you decide to travel abroad instead of like focusing just in the Italian market?
So basically, when I started to do my bachelor's degree, there is one a lot of wine fair in Palermo, also in Sicily, and like the seller asked to the university if there is some guy that want to work with them, like during the wine fair. So I accept, and I start to work with this seller. It's called Di Bella. That I discovered because I didn't know before. They have kind of a partnership with the university, in specific with the research group of microbiology about wine. I mean, food in general, but I was about wine. So I start to collaborate with them during all the bachelor's journey. So for any kind of cellar sizes, we were working with experimental regional wine to big cooperative size and everything in between, small cellar, big cellar, huge, big, gigantic cooperative. So and we did like I don't know, like in one harvest, 200 with different vinification, with different type of bacteria, yeast, Saccharomyces, non-Saccharomyces, natural, non-natural. How also like the nutrition profile can involve and how develop the different aspect of the organoleptics in the wine and whatever. So it was like super nice for me to discover so many things. But in the end, when I finished the journey, it was amazing. I had the possibility to taste a lot of wine, to know a lot of things, and I met one of the two masters in my life. It's Professor Nicola Francesca and Giancarlo Moschetti. They teach me everything about microbiology of wine. I was really focused on microbiology of wine, and after it's like I felt that is something wrong, as you say, what is like right now the position of a young winemaker in Sicily. So it's not so easy to find a correct position in a winery. But in general, I mean, it's not so easy to find like where you can go to work and they can treat you as a as every human being to be treated when it work. It's like, of course, no one work for the glory, but no one work only for the money. I think you have to give like the good average to the people, the good value to the people, not only like economically aspects, but also how you treat the people. Sometimes I only think that when we talk about human resources, the most important thing is the first word, because it's human resources. So you have to focus on the human. Because to be who you are right now, you have someone under you that make you possible to be who you are right now. I mean, if you go all over the world, win gold medals in New York, gold medal in Shanghai, blah, 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 whatever, super nice. But you can do this one because there are some guy that broke their back to shovel in the grapes to produce your Rosso, Superiore, Riserva, whatever. So that's how the life is working. To be on top. I mean, if you think like a building, if you have to ride to the first floor, you have to pass from the first one.
I totally agree with you. And this is also why when we first talked, you mentioned something like how can you truly value and enhance your land and your terroir? That is a word that everybody keeps saying, when you are not actually valuing the people and the human resources in it that are working it.
Exactly. One of these guy that was like my master, it's Giancarlo Moschetti, always tell us, it's like, what is terroir? He always say is a knowledge collective production. So it's, of course, it's the climate, of course, it's the soil, of course, it's all the practice in the vineyards, in the cellar and whatever. But it's also the people, It's like the people, it's a really important part about terroir. Because if you come here and you talk with a farmer close to Trapani, close to Agrigento, they know their land, they defend their land. So they know also if it's rain, what you have to do. I mean, it's not just it's nice to have like a theory background, so you know about the disease and whatever. But I mean, with this experience that you can have with your hands, and if you think like the vigneron in Burgundy is the same, no, they know a lot about the terroir. But if you cut the human part, as we said before about human research, I mean, yeah, you can go to one win whatever medal, but if you don't treat the people as a good value, what does it mean? You just open a lot of websites from some seller, and they always tell you they follow the tradition of the family, they try to focus on the environmental stuff, they want to be sustainable, they want to be whatever. But it's like we know that like 80% of them is just lying because that is not true because you just like set up storytelling that you have to be, and it has to be like that, and I can understand it somehow. But in the other part is like if you really want to think about your territory, your culture, your land, you have to take care of the people that work in your land. If you want to take care about the wine production, why you don't try to focus on the people that are winemaker, young winemaker in that region, in that land, because they are the future. But if you don't invest money and time to that people, to teach them people what you want in the future. And I mean, we're talking about wine, but it's the same in gastronomy. It's always the same. It's always the same. You have to teach the people. You have to let them know what is about the job, and you also have to give them the possibility to make mistake. That's the biggest freedom that I understand. You have to be free to make mistake. Otherwise, you never learn.
Yeah, I know this may be a little challenging, but I also feel like many people that are now heads of companies or like extremely well esteemed winemakers sometimes tend to forget that they were young in the past and then they they did mistakes too and that they learned from them. I feel like this is an extremely important passage. My other question for you is, this is the situation here in Italy, but since you have so many experiences in international companies, as I mentioned, in different countries, do you think this same situation is reflected and represents also the international scene, or is there a different approach?
It's completely different. It's completely different. I met a lot of people all over the world, young winemaker. I mean, just focus on Europe, okay? Because it's like if you go to United States, South America, of course the things change. But if you only focus on Europe, just to give you an idea, when you're in university, you have to make 125 hours of internship. So it means that you're gonna work in the cellar, or you're gonna work in the lab, or you're gonna work in the vineyards. That internship is not paid. So actually you work for free for the company. If you go to France, it's completely different. If you go to Germany, they also have this viticulture school where is 50% is theory, 50% is practice. So you go 1 week to university to learn, 1 week to the vineyards, to the cellar to work. But you got paid to do it. Like they give you like minimum salary per month. So that's how you develop work career. It's not just a voluntary stuff, but also you develop your knowledge about theoretical experience, and of course you have to spend hours on the book, but not only the book, you also have to spend some hours in the cellar. I have to be balanced 50-50. So as I said before, especially if you come from the south of Europe, I didn't have the same possibility of the other people that study winemaking in France, in Germany, even in Spain right now. It's different. I mean, I think just if you just consider this one as the basic of your knowledge, as a basic of your journey, it's already wrong. So how can you imagine that all the steps that's gonna be after is gonna be correct? That is the mentality, and it's gonna be like that. Think about that. I fight a lot to have the possibility to go out for every experience because I didn't have the money to do it. So I have to work like 3 different jobs, doesn't matter, always black money in a restaurant or whatever. So, but if you think like in Germany, you go there for the viticulture school, you work 1 year and you got money and you can go to South America and travel for 1 year without any problem. For us, it's completely different. So you don't have the same possibility. You have to work more and harder than anyone else to arrive at the same level. That is the standard, not to be the best, just the standard. That's why always it's like people that come from the south, they're always frustrating and they're always tired for this reason.
I'm gonna jump right in because you mentioned the word that is key, and that I was thinking actually at the same time, and it's frustration. So I guess my new question for you is there any suggestions that you would share with new wine producers who may feel frustrated? And do you have any tips for wine companies and how should they approach and take care of the new generations?
Sure, for the young producer, I know a lot of them in Sicily, in Austria, in Hungary, in Slovakia. So what I want to say is like I think they should go mass on, and I think for them it's the same. I know they truly believe what they're doing, and I know they make good stuff. So I think they should continue to do what they're doing and still fighting for their ideas and their production. About the big company and how they supposed to treat the young people is like, as I said before, let them make mistake, teach them, put them under your shoulder, and also give them a good value. Not only about money, but just also let them understand that if you stay inside the company, they can also develop a career. You cannot only come inside a cellar to work for a cellar hand and stay cellar hand for the rest of your life, just washing tank or whatever. I mean, it's nice because you have to start with that. I always say that if you want to be a good winemaker, you have to be a good cellar hand. But I discover like by myself this during this journey, during this experience, I discovered this. So what I want to say, if you are a company and you want to try to implement your company, your cellar with young people, just be human, just be social with them and teach them. And in the end of the day, if you have a long harvest day, then everyone is going to be tired. Open some bottle of wine and teach them, like tell them why they have to broke their back to produce that bottle. That's what I did, for example, in Austria, where I met the My winemaker was Thomas Gansa. It's one of the other most. It's the best human being that you can meet all over the planet. Like the best one. It's so friendly. It's so nice with every kind of human being, you know. And it was amazing because we always drink together, even if we spend like 16 hours in the cellar, because I was like his right arm in the cellar. So if we spend all the day, it doesn't matter. We stay together. We open a bottle of wine together, just chill, relax, and that's what I want to be. Is like take care of the human parts of the people. You don't have only to see the people as the horses. They work in the vineyard or they work in the cellar. The day is finished. You make your 8 hours. Ciao ciao. See you tomorrow. No, it's not like that the things work.
Period. I completely agree with you. I know this is a very important topic, but there's another hot topic that I want to discuss with you. That is natural wine. You attended a biodynamic certification course or something like that in.
Kind of like more introduction about one like biodynamic words. But as I say, like in Austria, I was working for the biodynamic company, and in Hungary as well, I was working for the biggest biodynamic cellar in Hungary, and it's Christinus. So yeah, I mean, you have to consider a different approach. But yeah, hold on.
Yeah, no, because like it's funny because you have a lot of experience in this side, in this niche of wine production. But you mentioned to me and you asked me this question: is it even still worth discussing if a wine is natural or not?
Yeah, of course, if you talk about biodynamic natural wine, okay, but in the end, the wine has to be good. Doesn't matter if it's bio, conventional, biodynamic, or natural, or whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Has to be good. First one. If it's faulty, it's faulty. Doesn't matter how you make it. Doesn't matter. So for this reason, I mean, of course, there is some discussion about it. If you go, I don't know, like for example, to Scandinavia, like to Denmark, there are a lot of these kind of wine bar that are running by kind of, I don't want to say like hippie, but you know what I mean, like bourgeois, bohème, these natural wine bars with funky stuff, blah blah blah. Okay, that's nice. I mean, I can understand, I can accept, but you have to understand that it's funky, not because it's the expression of the terroir. Because if I don't work well in the cellar, and the wine is faulty, it's not the terroir. The wine is faulty. Close the sentence. So I don't think we have to discuss about how you do produce wine, you know? I mean, I think you can produce wine how you want. It doesn't matter. If you want to be natural, if you want to be biodynamic, try to be sustainable. This one, yes. I can just give this maybe tip, I don't know, whatever. But I think you try to be like respectful on the environment that give you like the grapes. This one, yeah, 100%. I truly believe you have to be so like respectful and sustainable as a human and as an environmental stuff. For me, it doesn't matter if a wine is biodynamic, if it's natural, or if it's conventional wine. If you ask me, there is some difference. For sure, it's going to be some difference. But if one is different to the other, it's not mean that one is better than the other. Sometimes you are forced to use enological yeast. Sometimes you can make also spontaneous fermentation. It's always this one. It's always depend. It's always what you want to do, how you want to do, and if you can do as well. I mean, if you have to clarify in the wine, if you have to filter in the wine, no one is gonna die. You know, if you have to put sulfites because I need to put sulfites, just go to put sulfites. What's going to happen? Nothing. If you're really good and you have no problem and you cannot put sulfites, let's do it. I mean, doesn't matter. You know, for me, it really doesn't matter. There is no one that is better than the other one. I hate that right now everything is not about critical stuff. I have to be always against you. I have to be always against you. Yeah, because natural wine are faulty. No. Like if you think about before, like all the big vigneron in Burgundy, all the big producer in Barolo, they always go for a spontaneous fermentation. Always. But they don't tell you because they don't care.
Got it. Do you think, because, like, of course, this is the standpoint of a winemaker, you're extremely knowledgeable about all of this, but have you ever had this type of conversation maybe with your friends or somebody who's not familiar with wine? Do you think they care about natural wine and their wine production philosophy?
Yes. Most of the people think that natural is better. I'm not talking about wine, but in general. I always say that something that is natural is better, but we always have to consider that biggest poisoning stuff, it's also come from nature. So natural is not mean that it's better. It's always linked with you're able to be good to produce the wine. Yeah, I have a many discussion with the other people. Someone tell me is like, yeah, I only drink natural wine because they are better, because they show you the terroir and whatever. I say, well, look, could be. It could be. It's not mean that it has to be like this. It could be. Could be they are more. I want to say like more true. Like they show you truly that terroir and whatever. But I don't really believe in this. It's like I think if you want to make natural wine, you can make natural wine. Most of the people that I know that make this, it's just people that or they start to be focused on wine, so they start to knowledge about something. So you want to show that you are in one instead of the other party, or are people that are I don't want to say like stupid, but unprofessional. And also it's like I also think that one of the problems that we have today is like for many, many years, when you talk about wine, you was talking about, I don't know, something that was like religious, so mystic, with a lot of super complex words that no one will understand. Also, this wine just let me remind fresh cut grass during midnight summer, whatever. I mean, come on, man, you are not Shakespeare. It's like you have to be truly. So that's the point. It's like don't make the things more complicated than what they are. That's the thing that I don't like about the wine world. Completely. They always write this super fancy sommelier with the tight suite, whatever. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But if we have to drink a bottle of wine with six friends, don't be like, yeah, this wine it's perfect with I don't know, horse stick age 36 months in a cellar, whatever. No, come on, just drink. But even if we don't have the proper glass to drink that wine, who cares? Just drink. In a world that always make our alone behind a screen or whatever, sharing is a revolution for me. So I like to share the bottle of wine, the bottle of beer, sharing time with the people, talk about the stuff, just discover that the people is the best way to discover yourself as well. So that's the thing that I don't like it, and especially in with the social media, this is arrived to the peak. Like the people that don't know nothing about wine, just because they have few thousand of followers or million of followers, they just feel that they can say they can do whatever they want. That's not like this that the things work. How can I say you want to be a good and expert sommelier? Just follow my free webinars and you're gonna make the expert sommelier in your life. You don't need to taste a different bottles. It's normal that you have to taste many different bottles. It's normal. It's like these are the things work. You have to be experienced. Of course, you have to study, but you also have to make in your experience. So don't be like whatever that you want to show, you want to teach the people. No, don't think that if you only speak with people that are ignorant about the wine world, that's the stuff that I don't like it. Most of the people are like that. And especially it's like if I also am a sommelier, we discussed before that I also have like the WSET, the third level. It's like sometimes when I go to the tasting, I had someone, like some sommelier, start to speak about how irrigation can influence the wine. Say, what is your study about irrigation? How you know how the irrigation can affect the plant and that effect can affect the aroma of the wine? How can you explain to me if you don't know? So, first of all, talk about what you know. It's always like that. Be professional. Talk about the stuff that you know. I don't come to tell you it's like I think with the foie gras I can put this one instead of that one. Yeah, I'm a sommelier, but I don't feel super skilled as a sommelier, so I will not do it. I will not come to you and teach you the stuff, but don't try to be super much professional and say also something that completely doesn't exist. Like completely doesn't exist about scientific work. That's the stuff that I don't like about the world of wine. Arrogant. Most of the people are arrogant.
It's funny because you mentioned to me that you've been blocked on social media by a couple people just because you published something and you were like, hey, I don't completely agree with you, maybe. And you started like respectfully, of course. You were trying to start a conversation maybe about it and just to discuss it, right? And this didn't happen. You literally were just like blocked or your comment gets canceled. You mentioned multiple times during our earlier talk that there's somewhat of a ipse dixit. That is a Latin word for our fellow American listeners. It's a Latin word that means that if somebody says so, that's the truth. That's the given truth. Nobody's gonna debate that, basically.
Like religion, because the priest say is the truth. He say. That is not mean nothing about scientific word. I mean, yeah, it's true. I try many times, as you say, respectfully, because it's like I don't like social media as much. I don't really care about it. I prefer to stay in vineyards. But okay, if I use Instagram, Facebook, whatever, it's nice because I think they have the possibility to link the people, and it's amazing. You have the possibility to know a lot of a small production, small people that produce wine. You can also have a good knowledge from social media. I cannot say that I are the evil because I think it's stupid. A knife you can use to stab someone or to cut the zucchini. So it's always how you use the stuff. It's not the stuff in itself. That's what I think. So I think social media is amazing, but you are a wine influencer. You want to talk about some technical stuff. Okay, fine. You want to be like this kind of divulgation about wine. Okay, just make your post and let this read by a winemaker, like someone that you know that is professional about and is also competent about chemical, microbiology, vineyard culture, whatever. So try to be critical and try to talk with the other person, but they don't care. And when you also write them with DM or you comment below the post or whatever, they just told you, no, you are wrong. Yeah, but explain me why I'm wrong. Explain why I'm wrong. If I comment your public post, tell me tell me something. Also because it's about transparency. Right now there is this kind of trend that I saw to many people that I make a bad review on a wine, but I will not tell you which wine is it. So what is your job? It's like to be anonymous journalist. What's your job? What's your job? You have to be brave. You have to be brave. Take the picture of the bottle, even if you pay 140 euros the bottle, even if it's a super well recognized producer from whatever. Just say why the wine is faulty.
Yeah, you feel like there's a lack of integrity and honesty, maybe sometimes in the communication.
100%, 100%, 100%.
Out of curiosity, you mentioned multiple times that you're not extremely, like, you don't love as much social media, but do you follow mostly like what are so-called influencers, or do you mainly follow company profiles?
Like 90% is company profile or other people that I know that I met in my life. There are maybe some sommelier in some restaurant, whatever part of the world, or some other guy that working, or some friends that they have their own cellar. Like this kind of one influencer, full influencer, I think I only follow like two or three. I think one in Italy that, I mean, I don't want to make like any kind of advice for her, but like Carlotta Salvini, I think she's great. Like she's the best for me in Italy about how talking about the wine because she's really professional. She had a bachelor's degree in agriculture, in enology as well. She's also WSET diploma, and she's super nice. She represents like the Consorzio Brunello di Montalcino. She's super nice. She speak always like with the good words and what I mean. There is a lot of them, so I don't follow so much, so I don't know. But she's super nice.
If I may, one last question before we wrap this up, because I think we're running out of time. But when you decide to follow a winery, why do you follow them, and what is the type of content that you wish to see from them?
Well, most of them, as I say, just a storytelling. So they're never gonna post a picture of the cellar or whatever. They're just gonna post like the happy family that make a picnic with a new vintage of rosé wine. That I hate them, because it's lying. It's purely lying, but it's fine. I mean, I can understand that you have to be like this. So I just want that they show themselves what they do. Like, this is my vineyard. I prune like this today, whatever. So most time, or I get like attractive by the label or whatever, because of course in social media, the image is the most important thing, and I can understand. Or it's seller that I already know. So I already tasted and whatever. It was funny, but for example, if you think how I arrived to work in Austria, I came back from Chile to Sicily. I make an order in one shop in Italy, and I order a bottle of this wine, Weingut Vesely, in Langelois. I drank this bottle and I say, wow, this is incredible. let me send an email. Let's see if they're looking for someone. And I stay there 1 year. That's the. I mean, you have to believe in somehow. Something. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think circling it back to the beginning of the interview, actually, I think that it may be interesting, especially for people like you, to see the human resources side of the winery instead of the happy family with the picnic, et cetera, as you mentioned. Yeah, I think this is a wrap. Thank you so much, Diego. I am so excited about this conversation. I'm extremely grateful that you've been honest and that you are so passionate about your beliefs, the wine industry, and the values that it should stand for.
My pleasure. Thank you for the space that you give to me, for the attention. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Let us know your thoughts on our social media at Italian Wine Podcast and follow us to keep up with the next generation of Italian wine people. Cheers!